everybody, and welcome to Proline. And this is the NFL recap edition of Proline. So, yes, it's being done after the debacle that took place at the end of the Monday Night Football game between the Seahawks and Packers. And we are definitely going to talk about that. We want to let you know about what we've got for special offers this week as well, though. Hey, that's important. There's some good stuff out there, and there's some money to be made. College and pro football. Jim, home field game of the year. Total mismatch. South Carolina annihilated Missouri. This was as easy as it gets. Dog of the month. You get more than a two-touchdown underdog, and they were in control of the game start to finish. Kansas State, nice job. What do you got coming up this week?
I'm real proud of those two. Thanks for pointing it out, Dave. South Carolina, Kansas State. We got more of the same coming up. I got a pair of conference games of the year on Saturday, both for $29 at 1-866-841-1655. I also have a personal elite play that's online right now for sale at $2,000. Last week's personal elite was Arizona Cardinals. 27-6 over the Eagles as a dog, another dog that won. When you call, ask for a huge fan-friendly discount on Sunday's NFL personal elite when you call 1-866-841-1655.
The special I ran last week was an under-the-hat triple header, and it missed that much by going 3-0. And Western Michigan, UTEP easily covered against Wisconsin and Florida State. Well, I lost that one with I think 6 seconds to go on a deflected pass. Or maybe it was deflected to himself, but I don't know if I had the right side in that game or not, so I wasn't really bitching about it because Clemson was ahead by a pretty good amount. But I'll take the 2-1. The high roller window plays have been amazing. Kansas got their super totals, won again. They've been just blazing hot. Kentucky, Florida under on Saturday. Bills, Browns on Sunday. I did have a couple of missteps on some big plays on Saturday, and came back at second straight week I've done this. Just crushed the NFL. Absolutely crushed it. Top plays all got there on Sunday at the Pittsburgh Raiders game over the total. Mentioned the Browns and Steelers under, and the Atlanta Falcons were my Champ Club play. Very easy winner. So it's going really good. I want to give you 3 days for $9. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Going to include Ohio State and Michigan State. Sign up early. You get a TV game tonight. And a $500 window play going on Saturday. Everything for $9. 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. And the man in the middle here, Fairway Jay. Fabulous opportunity to get a full week of winners from you, Fairway.
Thanks, Dave. Another great week for you. I was also with you on Western Michigan and Florida State. Kicked off the week with BYU and the under on Thursday, so got off to a great week. Had another winning week in college football. We talked about totals last week. Came in with a solid winner on Arizona under the total Saturday night, and came right back with the Sunday night winner on the Ravens and Patriots over the total. Missed our top total, another top total on Sunday, but a winning week overall, and that's always the goal. And even threw in some big dogs with Akron going toe-to-toe with Tennessee for 3 quarters, getting 32 points. So you like to have those easy sides. And we're going to come back this week, Dave, with you can play 7 days of football, including my college conference underdog game of the year going Saturday and a Sunday high roller in the NFL. You get 7 days of action, including these top releases, all for $19. Just call 1-866-896-1627. We'll try to have another winning week ahead.
Should mention that on Monday night, and they were very small plays. I didn't like the game at all. So we gave out the smallest level on Seattle and the under. Easy 2-0. No, maybe not, because Green Bay clearly should have won the football game. They got robbed, and that's the talk of the sports world. Might be the talk of the whole world.
Okay.
What was that?
I agree with you. I agree with you. The final play was totally highway robbery.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of bad plays, or calls, I should say. I mean, they had 24 penalties. The game between the Patriots and the Ravens had 30 penalties, 24 accepted. There's more yardage off and on because of the officials' calls than there are the plays themselves. The integrity of the league is shot. $1 billion or upwards to $1 billion worldwide might have changed hands on that play last night. Now, we've had plays like that in the past with the regular officials, but the league isn't doing their job to protect the integrity of the league by putting this brand of football out there right now. And for years, they have told the players and the coaches, protect the brand, protect the brand, protect the health of the players. But they're not doing that by putting this group of officials out there who are clearly not capable of handling. And now, I'm not criticizing these guys because they're trying to do the best they can. But they're put in a situation where they just can't do it. They're not, I don't know whether they're not talented enough. I shouldn't say that. But they're certainly not trained enough to do it. They haven't had the experience to do it. And in Vegas, money worldwide has changed hands. I've heard up to $1 billion changed hands on that one play. But go back to the Patriots and Ravens game. You could argue that the right team didn't win that game. And a couple weeks ago with the Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles, there's a lot of them that we don't see because there's a lot of bad calls and missed calls you see that are made that shouldn't be, and calls that should be made that aren't. So it's a mess. Roger Goodell is an employee of the owners.
Right.
The owners don't want to pay this money. The owners are saying they have their egos to protect, and God knows they have big egos. They're all billionaires. They really don't really care about the little guy. But, we have a country that's a mess economically, and one of the places we go for relief from that is sporting events, entertainment. And now we have this problem on top of all the mess we have in the country. So I resent what they're doing. I think they should have solved this problem a long time ago. Or if they weren't going to settle with the regular officials, they should have had these guys trained better so that they could do a better job.
All right, this is where it gets interesting. There's no question the officiating is horrific. The integrity of the game is shaky right now. No argument to any of those points. The issue, though, and this is not my take on it necessarily. I don't know where I am on this because you know what? I'm not a billionaire owner. What's at stake here is the NFL does not want to pay the officials a fully vested pension. They are insisting, and they've dug in on this, that we are not going to give you your part-time employees. You all of them have other jobs. We are not paying you basically a lifetime pension based on full-time employment. They're not going to do it. And I don't think that's going to change. Look, I go back to 1987. Now, the world has changed somewhat, and we're hearing a lot more outcry now because we have the internet, social networking, and things like that. Twitter practically blew up after the football game on Monday night. But in 1987, the National Football League went 6 full weeks with replacement players, amateur players, and charged full tab on the tickets. And if you wanted to go to a game, you had to buy. They didn't care then, and I don't think they care now. They basically said then, you can't ruin us. We're not going to let you. And eventually the NFLPA caved in, and they went back to playing football with the real guys, and the NFL owners won that decision. It wasn't a decision, it was a technical knockout. Nothing has changed. I think the NFL's attitude is that if we give in on this, the next time the the CBA expires, we will never be able to have that same firm footing again where we're in control. That's the bottom line to me. And again, I'm not taking the NFL owner's side in this as much as I'm saying that I know what their side is, which is that we are not giving up any of our control. No matter what. We run the game. not you guys. And listen, they have no conscience anyway. Jim, they've never had any conscience. How's this for integrity? They charge, in some cases, $20,000 just for you to have the right to buy a ticket. They make you buy tickets at full price for preseason games, for games that don't even freaking count.
Yeah.
And they get away with it. I got to tell you, I don't think they're sweating this a bit. I don't think they care, and I do not think they'll change their MO, which has been the same for a long time. We run the game, you don't, and we really don't care whether you like it or not.
But Jim hit on a comment, Dave, and I agree with the part of the position of the owners, but there has to be some resolution with regards to. Jim had commented, the NFL's a brand. It's not just sports and gambling, and Jim had said it's entertainment, and that's a good point, because the entertainment value to the consumer, the public, the people that watch the games are what drive the ratings, which bring in revenues from TV and those contracts to the league and the owners. And I was reading that, I know the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar industry. I was reading that it's a $9 billion revenue industry this year, and yet the officials were talking about, apparently they're trying to save like $5 million with regards to the officials. Now, I don't know how it relates to what you mentioned, the pension and long-term, but it just seems like the negotiation for this part of it can be resolved. The owners are in contract negotiations constantly with agents who represent the players, and there's always a negotiation level with those players, and the owners hold nothing back with, if a player's injured, they cut them, they remove them, and that's why the agents negotiate so hard for their players with regards to injuries and potential compensation. Now we have the officials wanting a piece of the pie, it seems, and the owners are standing firm on their belief, but you can see what's happening with not only the integrity in the brand, but the outcry due to what is part of the game, and that's the officiating, and somehow there has to be a resolution with the money that's involved to compensate.
I agree, there has to be a resolution. Let me ask you, first of all, the ratings haven't taken any kind of a hit. I suspect they might even go up. The second thing is, I go back to 87. If you think this is bad, for the younger guys that are watching right now, you weren't there. If you think this is bad with these guys out there, they're bartenders playing football on Sunday, and the games were on CBS. The owners didn't give a damn then, and they still don't. It's their game. The product was horrendous. It was absolutely embarrassing, and they still didn't care. 6 full weeks of guys, amateurs, playing with National Football League uniforms. And it would have gone on for the whole season. The NFLPA finally caved in because they weren't getting any checks. Now, the referees are a tougher nut to break because these guys are making money at their regular jobs anyway. But that ties into the NFL's argument where we're saying, well, you got jobs. You work 1 day a week for us. We're not paying you a fully vested pension. I don't know what's going to happen here. I just don't see the NFL rolling over on this.
Dave, Jay, there's a saying that we have a corrupted product here.
Oh.
That's obvious. And there's an old saying that says, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I believe what we have here is the American people, the fans of pro football, have given too much power to the owners.
Completely agree.
And if this is a sport that this is our living. This is what we do. We bet on sports, so we need products like this. However, when you see it, you got to say it. The owners are loaded. They're very wealthy people. You got products that they bought for $200 million that are worth a couple billion, that franchises. They obviously had money to buy those products, and now they're even richer people. And I agree, when you're running a business, you have to make the right business choices. Economically, you must be fiscally responsible. But they're robbing the public. They're giving the public a bad product. Now, I don't remember the details, and maybe you guys do. And I believe it was in the Ronald Reagan era. where there were air traffic controllers that pulled something like this.
Yep.
And they ended up all losing their jobs.
That's right.
Being replaced by replacement air traffic controllers. Now, one thing about football games is another thing to step on an airplane and go up in the sky when there's planes flying all around and you got substitute air traffic controllers. Now, that's a leap of faith, whether you're going to make it home or not. So they broke that union. And I think what you're looking at here is an attempt to break a union.
No question about it. And by the way, we unfortunately, we live in a time frame right now, and again, I'm mostly a pro-labor guy. You can tell which party I'm in. We just had a situation last year in Wisconsin where they effectively broke the teachers' union. Broke it. They took away their abilities to collectively bargain. And the voters of that state decided not to run the governor of the state out of office. They gave him a resounding yes vote. Personally, I think the officials are in trouble. I'm talking about the guys who aren't working right now. And this is my belief. I think they're going to cave in. Because at some point, they're not billionaires. They're going to say, you know what, better to keep our $150,000 a year or so that we're making right now as part-time officials than get nothing at all. I think that's what the NFL owners are banking on. And I wouldn't be surprised if they would. These guys don't lose. You know, I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They're billionaires for a reason. They don't take no for an answer, and you never tell them what to do. I don't like it, but that's kind of the way I think it's going to go.
Yeah, you know, we're spending a lot of time on this, and it's a very important subject, and I think everybody out there is concerned about it because let's turn it away from the fan to the better, which is what we are and our customers are. You're talking about the integrity of the sport. I'm talking about the integrity of your money.
Oh.
And, you know, I had Seattle and I had the under, and so did you, Dave. I'm not sure what you had, Jay, but I was very happy with having the winner at the end. And I will say, without a doubt, Jennings had possession of that ball.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no question in my mind that was a terrible call. There were terrible calls throughout the entire game that could have affected the outcome as well. So if we rewind that game and actually replay the game and call what was right, we might have ended up with the same result. But the integrity of that last play was no doubt it was the bad call. This can be said about a lot of games, and I mentioned 3 of them earlier. They're saying that up to $1 billion worldwide may have changed hands based on that play. That's conceivable. Monday night game, especially people that were down and they bet on the Green Bay Packers to get out for the week. They're ready to jump off a bridge, or maybe they have already. It's a very sad situation for not only the sports fan, the Green Bay Packers fans, who went from having maybe an 80% chance of getting into playoffs to somewhere around a 40% chance of getting into playoffs. That's big money. Now, that is one team that doesn't have an owner. They have an entire city that owns them. So that's a different situation. But I'm upset with what it's doing to the aftermarket, which is us, of this sport. Oh, yeah. And I would say the same thing about whether it was the NBA or, you know, Major League Baseball. We need a sport that we can depend on the honesty of the sport. Now, I'm not saying this is dishonest, but it sort of is, but it's not dishonest like in fixing or something like that. It's just not right when you have these officials determining the outcome of the game. It almost goes back to that old saying, the officials are there to make sure, absolutely certain, that the players have nothing to do with the outcome of the game.
Well,
that's kind of where we're back to right now.
You think the officiating's bad in the NFL right now? Wait, because it's going to get worse. The NBA starts soon, and And their officials aren't even on strike. These guys are still better than those guys. The NBA officials stink, period. All right? Let's look at a football game. Browns and Ravens on Thursday. Well, the Browns they're trying to rebuild. They're a little more competitive. They're also not very good. But they might catch the Ravens in a flat spot here, guys, coming off the Patriots. Jay, what do you think about this?
They're just looking at the line on the game. You could clearly Arizona, when they play the Patriots, is a better ball club, top half. And I don't use power ratings. I certainly haven't. I don't use the power ratings in the NFL. But from a rating standpoint, Arizona would be top half in the NFL going into last week, and they've moved up obviously. And Cleveland is clearly one of the bottom teams. So now you can see how you can make a case where sometimes these big favorites are inflated, which New England was against Arizona, but I'm not certain that's the case here. The thing I noted about the matchup was the totals in this. Not only, I think, at 5 of the last six gone under, but just looking at these games the last 3 years, going back to 2009, Baltimore has won all of them. They were laying a similar price at home in all these games, but 34-3 final in Baltimore, 16-0 at Cleveland 2009. 2010, they come back, and you had 24-17 and 20-10 finals, then 24-10 last year and 20-14. So you're seeing these rivalry games between these two teams and franchises have been lower scoring most recently, and the total's been bet down here. I agree with that move. I don't think Whedon's going to be able to have success through the air, and last week they really struggled to put the ball on the ground and have success. Trent Richardson was really held down last week for Cleveland, and I think they're going to run into a similar problem despite the Ravens' defense clearly through 3 games not being as strong. They have played 2 common opponents, but I won't get involved here probably on the side unless I see something further that comes about. But I do think the under, despite it coming down, is still the way to look in this contest.
My early indicators actually point over, though. I'm not much of a history guy. I think the Ravens' defense is declining, and I think their offense is getting better.
Agreed.
This may be one of those games where they pull out to a big lead and Cleveland is able to generate some points late to get it over the total. It's not a strong opinion for me right now. There's plenty of time between now and Thursday, so I will work on this game further. But, Jim, my early lean is actually on the over in this football game.
I don't have the exact figure, but I believe I heard that Baltimore is playing 4 games in 18 days.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Already their defense isn't playing very well as it is. I think when you look at it, I think in defense they're 28th against the pass and 18th against the run in the league. And now they're in the middle of this 4 games in 18 days. That's incredible. I mean, that's terrible scheduling, and goes back to the health of the players. I mean, you're jeopardizing the players by putting them in that situation. It's going to be very hard for them to be totally motivated and physically able, because they have some aging players on this Ravens team. And Cleveland, I mean, somebody said they're rebuilding. They've been rebuilding since Jimmy Brown, for goodness sake. I mean, or before the invention of television. I mean, this is bring back Marty Schottenheimer. At least he could get them to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? But this team is. I mean, I give them credit for trying. I mean, they get out there and they give an effort. I will say that, but they certainly are not very good. And as far as Whedon is concerned, school's still out on whether he's going to be successful or not. He did look very good in college, and I can understand giving him a shot. But right now, I think this line's too high, and I think the total's too high.
Let's recap the offers, guys. Jay, full week, $19. Can't beat that with some big stuff, too.
Yeah, college conference, underdog game of the year going Saturday, Dave. We'll come back with another big total in the NFL on Sunday. Been doing well on those totals, and you can get 7 days of service and action, including these top plays, all for $19. Again, 1-866-896-1627.
My results have been okay in the colleges, but exceptional, truly exceptional in the NFL. I'm very happy with the way things are going. This weekend, 3 full days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, college and NFL, $9. You're going to get Ohio State and Michigan State included. The earlier you sign up, the better, because I got a TV game tonight and a $500 window play going on Saturday. All included, $9 at 1-866-896-1629. And Jim, an opportunity to be in the pink, because people are going to be able to get a huge discount on one of those personal elite plays that go for big money, plus conference game of the year time on Saturday.
Absolutely, Dave. I have a personal elite play that is online right now. It's a $2,000 play. That last week was Arizona Cardinals, and they were a 27-6 winner as an underdog, the straight-up winner. When you call, ask for the huge fan-friendly discount on Sunday's NFL Personal Elite release at 1-866-841-1655. I also have a pair of college conference games of the year on Saturday for $29. When you make that call, 1-866-841-1655, make sure you get on top of that. As far as this show is concerned, we're supposed to talk about and recap what a lot of things that happened, and mostly what we did is we talked about the officials. I mean, there's a lot of things we didn't get to talk about. I don't know if we have enough time to do any of that, but I will say there's some question marks that come into the Cam Newton. I'm looking at the list here. He's not playing very well. Carolina's not playing very well. The question there is, you're going to have that sophomore jinx. San Francisco lost their first road game. The Jets lost Revis. Huge loss. Revis is an incredible player. That's going to be an interesting game. There's a lot of stuff coming up this week that is Houston. Looks like, maybe you talk about best team in the league. Running, defense, good quarterback, wide receivers, the whole thing. They got it going on. Seattle, after that big win, going on the road, favorite at St. Louis, 3-point favorite at the moment. Denver, Peyton Manning, can he throw the ball deep? Can he be accurate? Can he throw a spiral anymore? A lot of people are asking questions about these guys, and a lot of things to be determined this week. The Giants visit Philadelphia on Sunday night, monster game. Michael Vick, turnover machine. Will he be the quarterback, or will they be switching to Nick Folk?
You've just given the best promo ever for why people have to watch the Pro Football edition of ProLine. That'll be available on Thursday morning. You got to watch, guys, because we're going to discuss the games that are coming up this weekend. And that's what really matters. I mean, listen, the games that took place already, can't do much about those. But the games that are coming up this weekend, you want to get the best information, make sure to check us out Thursday morning. The NFL edition of ProLine. Jim will be here. I'll be here. Jay will be hanging out as well. Plus, we get the college football edition of ProLine as well. Make sure and check them all out. Lots of winners out there and some good analysis. Guys, let's go get them. We'll see you later.